Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Tim Sylvia to defeat Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. And I'm here to talk about Marcin Tybura versus Tom Aspinall. Main event for UFC Fight Night, whatever the fuck. Tom Aspinall making his return 1 year to the day, almost. A day short of that. But 1 year after losing to Curtis Blades. Getting injured against Curtis Blades, I should say. Fight lasted about 10 seconds. And I don't think either guy landed a punch. But either way, wasn't good for Tom Aspinall. He ripped his knee apart there. I don't know the CLs, the MCL and the ACL. And if there's a few other CLs, he might have torn those too. But he fucked shit up. And he's been out for a year in his prime. Here, he's 30 years old. Speaking of which, Marcin Tybura is 37 years old. Tom Aspinall is 30 years old. And Tom Aspinall has 2 inches of height and the same reach as Tybura. Tom Aspinall has a record of 12-3. The 3 losses come. 1 to Curtis Blades. Didn't really happen. An injury in 10 seconds. 1 via DQ, which, whatever. Gotta mind your P's and Q's. Don't make that a trait. And the other legitimate loss, the only legitimate loss, is to this guy, Stuart Austin, who got him out of there with a heel hook in round 2. The guy, Stuart Austin, had a lot of experience on Tom Aspinall, caught him early in his career, and heel hooked him deep into the fight. Aspinall's wins, he's got 12 of them, 12 finishes. 9 TKOs or KOs and 3 submissions. And we've already seen him go through some really, really good fighters. Alexander Volkov, he straight armbarred him, just ripped him to the mat and tapped him out like it was 1995. Incredible win. Sergey Spivak, that's a win that's gotten better with age. Sergey Spivak, he knocked him out in round 1. Andrei Arlovsky, a rear naked choked him in round 2. And he also got out of there Jake Collier and his debut, Jake Collier and Alan Bordeaux. But Aspinall, yeah, the sky's the limit with this kid. He's fucking dangerous everywhere. Big, strong, athletic, really agile. And again, it seems to be very, very versatile. Marcin Tybura, he's pretty versatile too, but he's not as athletic, not nearly as fast, and not nearly as powerful. He's got a record of 24-7, 9 TKOs or KOs, 6 submissions, and 9 decisions. And his 7 losses come 4 via TKO and 3 via decision. The decisions are to Tim Johnson, Alexander Volkov, and Fabricio Verdum in a 5-round fight. That was a little too much too soon. And then he's got TKO losses to Augusto Sakai, Shamil Durakhimov, Derek Lewis, and someone else. And of course, he's got some good wins as well. Beat Blagoy Ivanov, Alexander Romanov, 2 wins as of late. Walt Harris, Dan Hardy, Ben Rothwell, Maxim Grishin. He's beaten some really good fighters, Marcin Tybura. And he's well on his way to beating Derek Lewis as well, in case you forgot that. But Tybura, he's pretty much a jack of all trades, not overwhelmingly good in any one area, but he's good everywhere. He's, maybe not great everywhere, but he's good everywhere. And we've seen him outlast a lot of really good fighters and strong athletes. And I think he's either going to get overwhelmed by Tom Aspinall early or maybe take over this fight. And there's got to be some other options in between with Aspinall winning late and whatever. But Aspinall's a guy who's, by and large, gone through everybody in round 1. The Andrei Arlovsky fight, nothing really happened in round 1. He ended up getting out of there early in round 2. But Tom Aspinall, he's a guy I still want to see in a close fight in the UFC, because I don't know how that's going to go. My pick with a gun to my head is Aspinall runs through him, gets him out of there via knockout early, like he did to Spivak and whoever else. But my bets will be on Marcin Tybura. Marcin Tybura, yeah, he's been knocked out a few times. But if his chin doesn't fail him, and these guys are in there in round 2 and even round 3 and whatever, I'm not saying I expect Tybura to have more energy, because Tom Aspinall just looks like the perfect fighter from the outside. But I do trust Marcin Tybura more. If, I've seen him more in those situations, even though I've seen him lose in round 3, of course, with Derek Lewis and whatever. But Marcin Tybura, I trust him more. I trust his cardio more in a winning effort or a losing effort, just because I've seen it. So based on the fact that he's plus 350, I think there's certainly room to bet on him. And there's definitely value on that money line, but I really think the props are where it's at. I want to see the props open up, and I will be sprinkling on Tybura to get late finishes, pretty much every round but round one, really. Because I think for round one, he'd have to hurt Tom Aspinall or fucking that injury shows up again. But other than that, I'm expecting Aspinall to be dancing around him, hurting him, maybe taking him to the mat if that's what he wants to do. But if any of that or all of that doesn't work, Marcin Tybura is just a guy I trust more. I trust more that he can take it and still be there deeper into the fight. So that's how I'm playing this. Picking Tom Aspinall, betting on Marcin Tybura, and I will probably bet on Tom Aspinall in round one because that's where he gets shit done. And once those prop bets show up, I'm sure it will be negative money because his money line is minus 400, or minus 500, his money line. But if it's worth it, I will play that because that is my prediction. But yeah, I broke down my bets. Real degenerate shit here. I see value on the gigantic underdog, so I'm going to bet on the gigantic underdog and even more gigantic underdog props. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.